Hello, welcome back to another episode of SLAB Talk. It has been over 3 years since CBCS entered the market, and I think we can safely say now that the market has finally caught up and give almost, if not equal weight to the value of CBCS books and CGC on any given books or any given grade. I think, um, sure, it's easy to find examples that would say, well, this book went for less in a CBCS slab, this book went for more in a CBCS slab, give or take here and there. But overall, I have been following the market closely for the past 3 years, and I can say that it is about the gap has closed considerably. Okay, on some books it went higher, and some it went a little bit lower, but on par, I think, as a consumer, as a retailer, I think the fear that, I don't want to use CBCS because I will get 10% or 15% or 20% less, that's kind of out the window in my opinion. Ultimately, if you're gonna sell a CBCS slab, it's, you know, in my opinion, it is best to not undercut yourself. By that I mean, don't list it at below CGC level. If you have it as a buy it now, list it at the same price. I think often sellers are their own worst enemy as far as pricing because they discount themselves. But what I did was I tried to pull a bunch of examples, okay? And it's very hard to pull out examples because you want, I want to compare apple to apple and not, apple to orange. By apple to apple, I mean I'm trying to pull up examples of sales or auction that happen close, like within 2 weeks, maybe a month, because as we all know, 3 months is way too far apart as far as what can happen to a value of any given book, right? So, for example, let's take a look at the New Mutant 98 in 9.6 slab. Okay, I pull up three. I pull up the 9.6 just for comparison, and you can see for the most part, sure, is there a 10% discrepancy here and there? Sure, but look at that. Look at the buy it now for $435. Okay, auction are risky. When you run an auction, I can't say enough that I'm not a big fan of running auction on eBay or anywhere else. That's why I consign my book. Auctions are for me to pick up bargains. It's not for me to sell my books at bargain. I can't stress that enough unless I have a super hot book. Okay, otherwise I don't chance it with auction because a lot of things can happen. But as you can see, in September, okay, it's hard to make an argument that it's better to use CGC or CBCS. And this is not a video endorsing either company. I don't care. Okay, I don't care about either one. I use both. I use CGC more because it is a closer drive to me. I would rather drive 20 minutes rather than an hour to pick up or drop off. But it is that simple. Let's take a look at another example. How about Batman Adventure 12? Look at the sales. Okay, it's not that different. Sure, you're looking at let's see, 700 range. Okay, plenty of 700, and CBCS have one or two. Notice both CBCS slabs that went for a little bit lower, by a little, I'm talking 5%. Okay, 5% is not a big deal, but guess what? They are auction, and the same thing can be said with the CGC slab here that went for 690. It's auction. Okay, if you are a seller and you thinking that this book can sell for 700, do a buy it now for 750 and take a best offer at 700 and be happy. There's always a chance that in auction you're not going to get the best price. It happens. Okay, sure, there are more people collecting CGC by nature, being around 10 plus years longer. That will happen, but all it takes is one less bidder and you will get a lower price. One less. Okay, if 10 guys are 10 collectors are fighting in an auction for a CGC slab, and only nine fight for the CBCS slab, you will get a lower price. That's just the nature of auction. Here we go again. Hulk 180, 9.2. Sales took place 2 days apart. No doubt the CBCS book have a gorgeous centering, much nicer than this miswrap, right? So you can see the market is willing to give a premium to a prettier book, as well as not discounting the CBCS label. So let's take one last example. Avenger 1, here we go. I have Avenger 1 here, 5.0. Okay, look at that. Now the way I had this sorted is the lowest price to the highest price. Just look, November 4th, 29,999, very close. And then of course the CGC one in October was 2750. That is also an auction. See that? Another risk on auctioning. So as you can see, there's plenty of evidence there to show that the market has accepted CBCS as equivalent in many scenarios. And that's it.